What's happening, guys? We got another video for you this week. Something special. This is a long time coming. We got another movie review. This time is anime based, and I got the homie Zen Typhoon in the building. Want to say what's up, Zen?
What's up? It's your boy, young no power all might. It's your boy, young Mineta. It's your boy, young burnt toast.
Word to show food, huh? Well, we're just gonna go through and everybody's gonna we're gonna go through and spoilers abound. I'm just go ahead and say it now. But we're just gonna go through and review and give our 2 cents about it. And I think you're the best one for the Cliff Notes version of events of this, and we'll just go from there.
Alrighty. So, My Hero Academia. Was it called Heroes Rising or Two Heroes?
Heroes Rising.
Heroes Rising. So, as we know, the gaggle of Class 1A, they are doing their first, I wouldn't call it a work study, but it's some real experience. There's a Nabu Island. And Nabu Island had a long-running hero who has retired in their old age. And until they find an adequate successor, they've allowed Class 1A to help out during the summer with the Nabu village people. So they had a very good system working of mostly assisting with errands. And you know, you got the whole what can go wrong vibe. And then obviously things allude to what can certainly go wrong with what I would call actually one of my most favorite villain ideas with 9.
He's essentially diet all for one, though.
Yeah, he is all for one, which I like because I think. See, I had this claim when All for One came around in the show already. I don't think All Might should have won. I do think All for One probably, in like a real, like, hey, let's just slam it, there's no protagonist armor, I think he might have taken that W. But
did he really like lose though? He might have lost that fight, but in the overall battle between those two, like All Might's pretty much useless now. So I mean,
exactly,
he won.
And so for those of anyone who doesn't know or isn't the biggest on My Hero Academia, it's a show about a world where 80% of the population has a quirk, which is a superpower. It's a fancy word for it. Some are cool, some are more utility based. Some are Mineta, where he throws grapes that are sticky off of his forehead. But you can be a hero, you can be a villain, and it follows a class of heroes that are training to be professional heroes, and it closely follows Izuku Midoriya, who is someone who was born without a quirk. And then some things happen for those of you, I guess, who still want to watch the show. So I won't just toss everything out. But he becomes real good, real strong. And so it quickly follows that. And there is a Superman of sorts that is All Might. And he is the hero he is the symbol of peace. And he is the #1 ranked hero in the world. And his arch rival, All for One, who can take powers and distribute powers as he needs and stuff, so he can take people's quirks. And the main villain of this movie's name is 9, because he can have up to a capacity of 9 powers within him at the time. So he tries to become, you know, ever so strong after this experiment that's given him the same powers as All for One.
But he runs on AA batteries, and
yeah,
he's gonna die after he uses it too much.
So after he uses his powers too much, the more he uses it, the more his cell tissues get destroyed in his body. So he's after a healing quirk. And he finds this little boy who happens to be on Nabu Village, or Nabu Island, who has a cell activation quirk. And the cell activation basically just gives you hyper healing. Your body works 10 times overdrive. So he thinks that if he can get this, he can continue to use his powers and possibly even break the limit of 9. And then so he's got his gaggle of bad guys who want to help him forge this new world where the strongest are the ones who are the highest on the totem pole.
Because reasons.
Yeah, because, you know, bad guy reasons. So we get to see this kind of really like tropical summer vacation vibe turn into something darker. And I guess one of the side notes that I forgot to mention is that during this whole time where Class 1A are on this island, they are the only heroes on the island. They don't have backup. They don't have like a superior or some adult watching them or another pro hero. It's just them.
And the heroes, it's just a ferry to get to there. So basically, they are all on their own.
Yeah. And so to kind of to swing into like the build, the villain, locates this little boy on Naboo Island, and he's going to start attacking. He's featured with 3 companions. He's got Mummy, who's a person who can... he's got these bandages, and if he wraps up anything in the bandages, he can control it, and it looks like a little puppet. So he can wrap up people, too. It doesn't work on living things, but he can control your clothing or articles of like accessories on you. So he can control the watch on your wrist and therefore can control your arm now, which I thought was really clever. I liked him a lot until he kind of got bodied immediately.
He got bodied super quick.
So fast. The other girl, I cannot remember her name. Was it just Slice?
It was Slice.
Slice. So she had hair that was really, really sharp, and it looked like she could also kind of spray it like needles if she wanted to, which was cool. I've seen enough hair quirks in my anime days to last a lifetime. And then we had Chimera, who was honestly, he's what Sun Eater could be. Sun Eater being a person who can eat food and gain the properties of the food he eats. So he can eat crab meat and make a crab claw. He can eat beef and make a hoof or bull horns or something like that. Whereas Chimera was just a kind of assortment of creatures already, and he was revered as a monster during his upcoming. So now he was angry, I guess. That was kind of his character.
He was a sad boy growing up, was turning him into a sad man growing up.
That's right. So obviously we get to a really nice point where I didn't ever feel like any of Class 1A was entirely useless, except for Invisible Girl.
I mean, the gloves were out. Did you see the gloves?
Yeah, they were. Whew. When
Mineta is more useful than you have a serious problem.
When climactic events happen in the anime, normally there are a lot of the heroes who don't even appear in the episodes, but they made a really good job of showing each person's strengths. Even some of the lesser characters. There's a guy who talks to animals. I've, in the show, almost never seen him do anything combat related or even rescue related, really. It's more so like he just talks to an animal to get some information, but he actually used a flock of crows or ravens to basically blind the enemy while they escaped, which was a really cool nod to him.
What about Tate Boy? He was actually in the fight.
Tate Boy was so good. I'm talking Funimation Spider-Man out here. That boy, I mean, at the beginning of the show, he was making like do not enter signs with his tape from his elbows, and then at the end, I mean, that boy got messed up. I thought he like broke his arms. Like he was going like...
Him and Uraraka make a really good team.
Oh yeah, he was basically a Spider-Man, and Uraraka with her ability of messing with the gravity of objects.
Magneto, pretty much.
Yeah, she would make something really light. He would Spider-Man sling it with a lot of force because it's a very light object, and then once it's on a projected path towards a target or an enemy, she would return it to its original gravity, therefore making it pick up terminal velocity and hit really hard, which I really liked that combo. Mm-hmm. We got to see a new, hopefully what the movies aren't canon, so I don't know what they're going to actually keep, but I really liked Todoroki's new, Sub-Zero Hell move, where
he essentially did a fatality on Chimera.
Yeah, he hit him with the Sub-Zero, said I'm gonna crucify this boy. But so that was pretty wicked. We got to see Unbreakable Riot again, and I don't see. The more I watch My Hero, the more I actually feel like I'm a Bakugo fanboy. I've never liked the loudmouthed, angry. I watched all of Fairy Tail. I was never into Natsu because it was so annoying. It was obnoxious. It was loud.
See, here's my thing. I like Natsu.
Uh-huh.
I like Asta from Black Clover. Yep. I cannot stand Bakugo, and it might go to a glorified rant that I have against other protagonists from other anime. First one that comes to mind is Sasuke.
Yep.
I can't stand people who are angry for no fucking reason.
That makes sense.
Like I get it, you want to be the best guy. I get it, you're angry for the sake of being angry, but at some point that gets old.
It does. And one thing that I've mentioned where, like, as I watch the show more, I like Bakugo is similar to, say, Vegeta's case. Vegeta used to be the villain of Dragon Ball Z, and then he wanted to kill Goku, and then he kind of was like, hold on, I can make myself better by sticking around this guy and training and like doing all the things he does and being around him in general. And he became like a really tolerable guy who eventually even got like a bond with Goku.
But see, here's the thing though, like Vegeta started off as a villain. Bakugo just started off as an asshole and still is an asshole. Like I get where you're going with that. And I love Vegeta's art, I really do. But like I like Bakugo's powers. I like what he's doing for the show itself, but I just don't like him as a character. Like, it's just people want to talk about how deep he is and how good of a character he is, and I'm just sitting here like, where? Like,
similar to, oddly enough, he's really alike Vegeta and Sasuke. I love how his strategical thinking is massive.
Mm-hmm.
His like AP shots where he's like an explosive guy, but then he like hones them in and uses like a really precise armor piercing round.
Fighter.
And the howitzer, oh my lord, that attack, it's amazing. And to kind of squeeze back to like the movie track is similar to most anime movies, as you'll find. The main protagonist and then like the side protagonist, like the backup, they will be the main people fighting this big monstrous villain. So it ends up being 9 versus Deku and Bakugo. And I liked the fact that Deku seems to be gaining control, even in the show, gaining control of his quirk through emotion. There are times when he can really hit it, and he's like, "Oh man, my whole entire arm didn't break," which is cool. I want to see more of that. But it was cool to see how they not only did they just throw themselves at 9 at first, but then they started learning. Like Bakugo would like charge him, and then as he would hold up his like barriers, he would use his explosions to like
twist around him and stuff like that.
He would like what's the anime fighting game out right now? It's got like Goku and JoJo and Hunter x Hunter, and it's like
Jump Force.
Jump Force. He would like Jump Force slide around him. Like everything was so action packed and never stopped, and it was real cool. But this 9 ends up like they find out that he runs on the AA batteries, and he can't use the powers for too long. So their strategy is to just keep him going, just run a barrage. So he has to counterattack and defend.
And separate him from his sidekicks.
Yeah, and separate him so that he had to do the fighting. And once they get him to his breaking point, they're like, "Oh, this is it. We're gonna mess him up." And
then he goes Super Saiyan.
He takes this liquid that they didn't explain, which I didn't really like that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I essentially think it's the serum that All For One was testing on people to see who's a match. Mm-hmm. But it sent him into a power craze, which I've seen both of My Hero movies now. And don't get me wrong, they're both amazing. But I want to see a villain who does not require a third-party thing to be the strong villain. If you've seen the first My Hero movie...
Which I did not, surprisingly.
You still have not to this point?
I still have not seen the first movie. I don't know what I was doing when I was doing it, but I know I've been spoiled already too.
Gotcha.
So you can go ahead.
So the minor spoilers of it are there's a helmet that just really mega powers up your quirk like tenfold, and so that's the guy's got like a metal altering quirk, like literally Magneto, and then when he puts the helmet on and he becomes Super Magneto, he can bend everything because it's metal, quotation marks. So I'd like to see an anime movie of My Hero where the villain is just actually kind of strong. That's why one thing I liked about All For One is he was actually just kind of strong. His quirk gave him potential, he built on it, and then he gave the number one hero symbol of peace a real big run for his money. So I guess we're kind of like a spoiler warning. Do I talk about how intense the
Oh yeah, I'm throwing spoilers in the title of this.
Okay.
My whole thing about this is, and we're gonna go ahead and get into super spoilers territory. So, like, if you really don't want to hear the ending, leave now. But for the most part, like, I like the movie. When the first time I saw it, I've seen it twice already. The first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, this is a 9 out of 10."
Yeah,
amazing. Second time I seen it, I'm starting to see its flaws because the eye candy is like not as
worn off.
It's worn off, exactly. So the second time I've seen it, I'm already seeing, okay, this is glorified filler. Good filler. Really good. But it's glorified filler. And the reason why I say that is they stole story beats from the actual series to make a movie. A la the little boy being the center of everybody trying to rescue them with the million and Deku. It's almost, the story beats are almost 1-for-1. With Bakugo, it just switch out Million with Bakugo and just switch out the little girl Ari with this no-name boy, and even their quirks are similar, as into when they can heal, quote unquote, and with the villain being diet version of All for One. It's not a wholly, original movie. Is it still great to see? Hell yeah. Do I still recommend it? Hell yeah. Is it 100% you have to go see this or you stupid? It's not like Dragon Ball Z Super Broly, where if you're a fan of it in any capacity, you need to see it. Do I recommend seeing it, especially if you are a fan of My Hero in any capacity, and the fact that it's non-canon, even people who fell off, it's minor spoilers to stuff that happened in later seasons, but you can definitely go see that and still watch the series in its proper form. I didn't mean to jump in.
You're good.
If I was to give it a letter grade, probably would be a B-, C+.
Yeah.
Maybe even a solid B.
I would have given it, like, there were parts in it that I didn't enjoy.
Oh, that ending was so stupid to me. The first time I saw it, spoilers, super spoilers. Deku and Bakugo, Deku gives all one for all to Bakugo, and they basically just both just throw themselves at the villain to win. Is it good? It's very good to see. It's one of the animation is perfect. You see Bakugo just melting rock, getting to them. But essentially, what you said earlier goes all the way out the window with the whole strategy and everything.
Yeah. They just went.
Exactly.
And that's one part that really does bother me as well, is in both movies that I've seen now, they both end in that same way. And wouldn't you know it, story beats again. Eri, spoilers for the show, I guess. Eri and Deku teamed up makes, Deku 100% full cowling. He doesn't need to hold back because Eri will like rewind his body to faster than he can blow it up. And it ends in like one big good punch. There's not a fight. As soon as he realizes that he's got this edge, it's 10-1. He's all around. He's beating him down. I think there's like one moment where like Overhaul hits his like final form and does like a okay hit, but then he's like, remembering the past, Lemillion, Sir Night-Eye, my mom, here we go, protagonist.
Deus Ex Machina armor, here we go, activate.
And he just kind of goes. Now, my favorite part about the entire movie, Might plus Ultra, sung by Michaela Phillips. That song that played. The final fight scene, and I wish more shows would do this. Most shows get really loud, they get really crazy, there's some dope dialogue, there's even some like, maybe it's got like a really awesome song that's added to it in the background, but this song, the final fight scene was silent. It was very quiet, and that song played.
All you saw was just the animation. They just say, hey, animators, go fucking nuts. And that's
Go-
what they do.
Go wild. Meanwhile, we're gonna play a power ballad. If anyone knows Kingdom Hearts songs, it's the same genre as that, and that was playing while they were just going ham. I've listened to that song so many times. How many times have I gone back to look at the fight? Maybe twice.
I've seen the fight a total of twice.
Yeah.
And that's just because I happened to go and see the movie twice. I think I've seen the actual fight on Snapchat maybe once, but I didn't bother seeing the whole thing because I've been there, done that, you know?
Right.
If I wanted to see people throwing themselves at each other, I just watched the Broly and Gogeta fight, which is which the choreography on that was 100 times better because like they wasn't just throwing their stuff at them. You could see Gogeta actually doing like martial art moves, hit the Millie Rock in the middle of it, like. It's not just two strong people throwing their stuff at each other like a kid would do action figures. Now, like I said, I'm not here to bash the movie. It's great.
Oh, it's a wonderful movie.
It's a wonderful ride.
On review, I don't want to just sit here and stroke the movie. There are definitely some. It's a fantastic movie. It's a great watch. It just from a point of like a diehard My Hero fan, you might actually see this movie as a slight negative.
Yes.
From an anime fan who just enjoys to, you could watch this anime movie, never have seen My Hero. It's explained perfectly fine. The action's
you can
cool.
definitely watch this movie as your first piece of My Hero jumping in. We tried to get a couple of friends to do that, but they played it. It is what it is.
It's
everybody except for Rachel had a good excuse.
That's right.
I think this opens up the avenue for more anime movies to be dubbed and thrown in regular theaters because it broke records.
Absolutely.
I think last time I checked, US it made about 10 million box office, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for anime movies that's only shown like once a day, every other day, maybe twice a week. It's really great numbers. I think overall it's made about 30 million, 2.9 million all over. So like I'm here for all their like. Oh yeah, I'm here for it all. The next one I think that's going to be I'm going to take a look at is Mortal Kombat's getting a new animated movie. I think it's more in the vein of straight to video, but if it's done by the same studio who does the straight to video DC movies, which are really good, I might end up making that a separate series on the channel, just reviewing all the DC movies. Those are good. So if it's WB and DC already have a really good relationship, look at Injustice. So I think it's good that we got where we are with the nerd. Like I said on with nerd stuff. Like I said in the last podcast, we're in a video game / anime renaissance. Yeah, and I think a lot of that could be attributed to the success of the MCU. So now everybody else is trying to find their own version of that. Some of that's good. You end up with stuff like the DC animated movies, and some of that's bad. Stuff like Batman v Superman. So it is what it is. Yeah. But you want to give your final grade to it, Zane, before we get out of here?
Oh yeah, like I said, all in all, first time watcher, casual anime fan, even a My Hero fan who doesn't care to go in depth. My girlfriend is very into My Hero, but doesn't like look past the really wowzer good things to like be like, I didn't really like this in the movie. And to her, she absolutely loved it. I would say it's easily like an A- B+ movie. For an actual like My Hero fan, I literally, for the reasons we've named with the the story beats and the kind of really beautiful fight but really straightforward fight, I'd maybe only drop down to a B-.
Yeah, that's the lowest. Yeah, it's above average. It's not an above average movie in general. But if you want to just start strictly anime wise, like I've seen this type of fight before, I've seen this type of story before, but that's not always a bad thing.
It's not, yeah. And honestly, if this was, say, if we were comparing the first movie and this movie happened to be the fourth, I wouldn't think I would probably give it a B plus and an A or something. But because I've seen two villains back to back who use some third party thing to make themselves stronger, I think that's the real only reason that I'm a little biased to it. But
I mean, the fact that I didn't see the first movie and we're having similar thoughts about this one, it says a lot. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, it's still a W. You go see it. I wasted money twice to go see at the movie theater. Everybody knows how expensive movie theaters are nowadays, and I've wasted money twice to go see it. So
that's right.
That's a testament to that. I'm talking shit about it, but I still wouldn't pay to go sit and see this movie twice. So
that's right.
Zen, I think it's a tradition at this point. You want to just throw everything out, and then we'll call it a day.
Alrighty. Well, you know how it is. Thank you for having me. I've been Zen Typhoon. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Hit that little bell down at the bottom so that you can get that action the second that it's posted, because you don't want to miss any of this Nerdbois podcast information. Wonderful and wacky news. We're at 43 subscribers. That's just about halfway to 100, and that's a tenth of the way to 1K, baby. So make sure you're smacking that subscribe button. You're letting everyone know, sharing it on social media. Shout out to my boys from the Nerdbois podcast, and also March 25th, 2020, Digimon Adventure Last Evolution. Kizuna, the movie comes out. Let's go see it in theaters.
Well, he said everything for you. It's AK and Zen Typhoon of the Nerdbois podcast, and we are out of here.
Yeet.